Here is a riddle to guess if you can. Sing the bells of Notre Dame.
What is up, guys? This is Nick Pell, and you are watching this straight from my bedroom. The first book that I'm going to review for you guys is Victor Hugo's The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Many of you might know this book from the Disney movie that came out in, I believe, '96. The book is slightly different. My edition, the Signet Classic version of Hunchback of Notre Dame, translated by Walter J. Cobb, actually does a very good job with translating the story and whatnot. So this is the summary as put on the back of my novel. The setting of this extraordinary historical novel is medieval Paris, a city of vividly intermingled beauty and ugliness, surging with violent life under the two towers of its greatest structure and supreme symbol, the Cathedral of Notre Dame. Against this background, Victor Hugo unfolds the haunting drama of Quasimodo, the hunchback, Esmeralda, the gypsy dancer, and Claude Frollo, the priest tortured by the specter of his own damnation. Shaped by a profound sense of tragic irony, it is a work that gives full play to the author's brilliant imagination and his remarkable powers of description. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about is the characters. Basically, the book is started out with a character, a playwright, named, I'm probably going to butcher this, Gringor. The book starts out with a playwright named Gringor, who becomes basically a side character in this novel. Now, the first character that most people are familiar with is Quasimodo. He is basically this deformed, deaf hunchback who has been living in the bell tower of Notre Dame since he was an infant. His master is named Claude Frollo, who most people recognize from the movie as the basically bad guy. In the movie, he was a judge, if I remember right, and in the book, he is actually the archdeacon. And both of these two characters are basically in love with the same woman in the book called La Esmeralda. She is basically this innocent girl who is a gypsy dancer and plays her tambourine with her goat. The book itself is split into 11 different books or parts, and it just plays out by that. The last character that many people recognize as the golden-haired nice guy Phoebus from the movie, he returns in the actual novel. He is basically the captain of the archers, but he is not really the guy chasing Esmeralda in the book. He is engaged to his cousin, which I guess back then it wasn't incest and therefore wasn't wrong. So, on to the plot. The book is a big love triangle. You got La Esmeralda as the main love interest of almost everybody. You got Quasimodo, who is in love with her because she is the first person to really show him some kindness and compassion, even though he tries to kidnap her in book 2 of the novel. And then Quasimodo basically becomes the Pope of Fools. He basically gets tied down and gets fruit and vegetables and whatnot thrown at him, and is saved by Esmeralda, who cuts him free. And then in the novel, basically it's a similar situation. Alright, and then the other three people, I guess, that are in love with her are Frollo, Gringor, and Phoebus. Well, kind of Phoebus. With Claude Frollo, he basically sees her one day, he becomes obsessed with her. He basically falls in love in an instant. Being an archdeacon or a priest, he thinks it a sin, but he is so in love with her, so impassioned by her, that he wants to just say, screw it all, run away with me, I will do whatever it is that I can do to make you happy. And they got Gringor. He accidentally becomes married to her in about like book 3 or something. But he becomes married to her for 4 years. And she basically makes it clear to him that she doesn't want to have any funny business happen. She just wants to continue living her life. She basically marries him to save his life, and that's all that the marriage really meant to her. I think he falls in love with the goat, honestly. It was Paris in the 15th century, so there you go. And then you got Phoebus. Phoebus falls in love with her in a way that I will not spoil at this moment, because it's like the mid-climax of the novel. It's what leads to a bunch of different events occurring in the rest of the book. One thing I want to mention about the plot. Many people remember an awesome scene from the movie where Quasimodo basically pours molten lava down upon the guard who are trying to storm Notre Dame. In the book, he does basically the exact same thing. People basically are killed instantaneously. That's basically a really cool part that I really like that the movie put in, because I don't know, it's just different, and not many Disney movies are willing to go that distance anymore to make a Disney movie live up to its book. Next up is the themes of Hunchback of Notre Dame. There are a lot of themes in this book. There's heaven versus hell. There's love and hate. There's good and evil, and then there's innocent and guilty, which all kind of relate to one another, but they all work in the same fashion. For every main character deals with one of these four themes in one way or another. It's just really interesting seeing how they go from the beginning of the novel to being, well, more or less innocent, to the end of the novel where they're all experienced and they're all just like, what the hell just happened? So don't expect the little happy Disney ending at the end, because it doesn't happen. Last thing I'll talk about is how much I enjoyed the book. You heard me review the characters, you heard me review the plot, and the themes. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. I read it in about, I don't know, 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks, just because I was busy with other things. Overall, it's like, what is it? Almost a 500-page book, if you get the Signet Classic anyway. The only little gripe that I really had with it, because during the story parts, it just went really quickly and continued, and there's rarely a chapter that related to the story that bored me. But every so often there would be a little part where it would basically give the history, like there was one where it gave the history of Notre Dame. It basically, 20 pages of it just talking about the structure and the architecture, and I was just bored out of my mind. So I think I just skipped that chapter, because it did not relate to the book at all. There was one that I really liked that had the history of Paris, I think. And that was really cool. I like that one because I'm a history geek, and I'm actually going for history as a major in college right now. Yeah, that's my thoughts. That's my review of the book. I highly recommend it if you are into if you've seen the movie and want to know the real story behind it. The movie does follow the book actually pretty well. Changes a few things because it has to be relatable to kids, but other than that, that's my review. If you liked it, subscribe, like, comment, leave a video response if you feel so obliged to. Tell me what I can do better, what I could improve on. This is my first review. There will probably be more to come, I'm hoping. But it'll mainly depend on how this video turns out and how you guys perceive it and like it. So, until next time, I'm Pell, and keep on reading.